Think about it. Every single great achiever, every confident person didn't just wake up one morning believing in themselves. They trained their minds through the language they used. They spoke victory before they saw it. They said, "I can," even when everything around them said they couldn't. The words you use are the seeds you plant into your future. Negative self-talk grows weeds of insecurity and confusion. Positive self-talk grows the roots of confidence and success. For 3 days, if you consciously choose your words, you'll notice the shift. Your mornings will start with power instead of pressure. Your challenges will feel like opportunities to grow, not threats to your peace. You'll start walking differently, talking differently, and thinking differently because your words will feed your strength, not your fear. It's easy to underestimate how much influence your self-talk has on your daily life. You may think it's harmless to say, "I'm tired," "I can't do this," or "I'm not good enough." But those phrases become your truth if you repeat them long enough. The mind doesn't distinguish between truth and repetition. It just believes what it hears most often. So for 3 days, fill your language with power. Speak to yourself as if you already are who you're trying to become. Say it even when you don't feel it yet. Because the moment you start talking to yourself with love, belief, and courage, your actions will start following that same rhythm. You become what you tell yourself you are. Self-belief is not something that suddenly appears. It is something you construct piece by piece, thought by thought, word by word. Every confident person you've ever admired built that belief through repetition, not luck. It starts with a decision to speak to yourself like someone who deserves success, even when you don't fully feel it yet. For 3 days, if you deliberately choose to tell yourself who you are becoming, your mind will begin to adjust to that new identity. You say, "I am capable, I am strong, I am built for this." Not because you already see the results, but because you are creating the foundation for them. Repeating those affirmations is like lifting weights for your mindset. Each repetition strengthens the muscle of belief. The truth is, most people spend their lives reinforcing doubt instead of faith. They tell themselves, "I always fail," or "I'm not good enough," until it becomes a pattern buried deep inside. But when you reverse that dialogue, when you interrupt the old programming and start feeding your mind with possibility, you begin to rewrite your story. Self-belief doesn't need evidence to start. It needs commitment. When you make the choice to speak faith into yourself for 3 days straight, you begin to notice the tone of your inner voice changing. You start catching yourself before saying something self-destructive. You start replacing hesitation with hunger. Listen to me carefully. For the next 3 days, I want you to stop arguing with your potential. Stop doubting your strength. Stop feeding your mind the same poison that's been keeping you small. For just 3 days, only 3, I want you to speak to yourself like you are becoming something unstoppable. Every morning when you wake up, before your feet even hit the floor, you tell yourself, "I am done being average. I am done being scared. I am done living like I don't matter." You tell yourself, "I'm built for more, I'm capable of more, and I'm going to prove it." For 3 days, I want you to treat your reflection like it's your teammate, not your enemy. You've been tearing yourself down for years. Now it's time to build yourself back up, brick by brick. The words you speak to yourself are not just sounds, they are instructions to your mind. Every sentence you repeat in your head becomes a command that shapes how you see the world and how you act within it. When you tell yourself that you're not enough, your brain starts collecting evidence to prove it right. When you say you can't do something, your body loses the energy to even try. But the moment you shift that inner conversation and start speaking power into your thoughts, everything begins to change. You start standing taller, thinking clearer, and feeling stronger. For 3 days, if you decide to speak to yourself as someone worthy, capable, and unstoppable, your reality will start aligning with those words. It's not magic, it's focus. The mind believes what it hears the most, and for too long, you've been feeding it doubt, fear, and hesitation. Belief grows through consistency. It doesn't matter if it feels awkward or fake at first. That's how all growth begins, uncomfortable and uncertain. You speak it until your heart starts to agree. You remind yourself every morning that you are not your past, not your failures, not your fears. You are what you repeatedly tell yourself you are. For 3 days, become intentional with your words. Every time doubt whispers, respond with strength. Every time fear rises, respond with courage. That practice of inner conversation is how self-belief is built, not in one dramatic moment, but in small, quiet repetitions that reshape your identity. Soon you won't need to force yourself to believe, it will come naturally. Because when you talk to yourself with conviction long enough, you begin to live by it. The mind learns to trust your voice, and that's when belief transforms into confidence, and confidence turns into unstoppable momentum. The voice inside your head is powerful, but it's also stubborn. It will try to pull you back to comfort, to old habits, to the version of yourself that never changed. That's why discipline is essential when it comes to mastering self-talk. You can't let your thoughts run freely and expect them to guide you towards success. They must be trained, shaped, and controlled. Your mind will test you. It will whisper things like, "You're not ready," or "This is too hard." But in those moments, discipline means answering back with truth, not emotion. For 3 days, make it your mission to command your inner dialogue. Don't let it wander into negativity or excuses. Every time your thoughts try to drift toward doubt, pull them back toward strength. This is not easy work. The mind has been programmed by years of repeated fears and failures. It has learned to protect you from risk by convincing you to stay small. But when you discipline your self-talk, you break that cycle. You start teaching your brain that discomfort doesn't mean danger. It means growth. You stop reacting to fear and start responding with focus. You train yourself to choose empowering words even when the situation feels heavy. This mental discipline is what separates those who talk about change from those who actually live it. For 3 days, you must guard your thoughts like a gatekeeper, letting only strength and purpose enter. When negative thoughts appear, and they will, you don't fight them with emotion, you replace them with direction. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I will find a way." Instead of, "This is too much," say, "This is making me stronger." It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about refusing to give power to weakness. The more you practice this, the more automatic it becomes. Your brain learns your new rhythm, and soon positivity becomes your default state. Discipline in your self-talk is like training your inner warrior. It's not glamorous, and it's not always comfortable, but it's the foundation of mental strength. For 3 days, if you can master your inner language, you'll realize you have control over the one thing that shapes every outcome in your life, your mind. And once your mind listens to you, nothing can stop you. Your energy always follows your focus, and your focus is guided by the words you speak to yourself. Whatever you consistently think about, you move toward. If you keep telling yourself that you're tired, that life is unfair, or that success is too far away, your energy will reflect that belief. It will drain, slow down, and weaken. But when you shift your attention to possibility, strength, and purpose, your entire energy rises to meet that vision. For 3 days, if you feed your mind only with words of power, encouragement, and direction, you will notice your energy changing. The body moves where the mind leads, and the mind listens to your words first. That's why your self-talk is not just motivation, it's a form of focus training. Most people spend their mental energy worrying about what could go wrong, replaying their mistakes, or comparing their progress to others. They don't realize that where attention goes, energy flows. If you constantly focus on lack, you'll keep feeling empty. But if you focus on growth, discipline, and gratitude, your energy will naturally elevate. This isn't some abstract idea, it's psychological reality. The brain is wired to seek what you emphasize. So for 3 days, emphasize progress, not perfection. Emphasize learning, not losing. Emphasize how far you've come, not how far you still have to go. Your focus decides your emotional state. When you choose to speak about strength, your energy becomes stronger. When you choose to speak about struggle, your energy weakens. That's why you have to be intentional with every thought and every phrase you say to yourself. Instead of saying, "I have so much to do," say, "I'm grateful I get to grow through this." Instead of saying, "I'm overwhelmed," say, "I'm becoming more capable every day." These small shifts in language redirect your energy toward productivity and peace instead of stress and fatigue. After 3 days of controlling your focus through your self-talk, you'll begin to feel lighter, more alive, and more in control. You'll see that your energy doesn't come from caffeine or luck. It comes from clarity. The clearer your focus, the stronger your energy. The stronger your energy, the faster your progress. Everything you want begins in your mind, and your mind begins with your words. Speak energy, and you'll live energy. 3 days may sound short, but they hold the power to change everything if you commit to speaking to yourself with intention. The mind doesn't need months to shift. It needs consistency, honesty, and focus. When you dedicate just 3 days to feeding yourself empowering thoughts, you'll begin to feel the difference in how you think, act, and carry yourself. In those 3 days, your inner voice starts to understand a new language, the language of belief, courage, and determination. The more you repeat positive words, the more natural they begin to feel. That's the beginning of transformation. It doesn't happen in a dramatic moment. It happens in small, repeated conversations you have with yourself. Most people underestimate how quickly the mind can adapt. The moment you start talking to yourself like someone you respect, your brain begins to accept that identity. On day 1, you may feel resistance. Your old thoughts might argue back, trying to pull you toward doubt. But if you stay consistent on day 2, your confidence begins to build. By day 3, your energy shifts. You start noticing how differently you respond to challenges. You begin to walk with a quiet strength because the words you speak to yourself start to feel real. 3 days of discipline can ignite a spark that changes how you see yourself for the rest of your life. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. In just 3 days of intentional self-talk, you'll prove to yourself that change is possible. You'll see that you're not powerless. You simply needed to take control of your inner dialogue. Once you experience how much power your words hold, you'll never want to go back to the old way of thinking. You'll crave that clarity, that confidence, that quiet self-assurance that comes from speaking truth into your mind. Those 3 days can become the beginning of a lifetime habit. You'll realize that if your thoughts can change your energy in 72 hours, then imagine what weeks, months, and years of that same discipline could do. Every transformation begins with a decision, and yours starts with 3 simple days. Talk to yourself like the person you're becoming, and when those 3 days end, you won't recognize the person you used to be, because by then, you'll have already started becoming the version of yourself you were meant to be. When you spend 3 days talking to yourself with belief, courage, and purpose, something inside you wakes up, a strength you may have forgotten existed. You realize that your words were never just sounds, they were the foundation of your future. In those 3 days, you don't just change your thoughts, you change your energy, your attitude, and your direction. And once you feel that shift, you'll never want to return to the person who doubted, feared, or hesitated, because you'll finally understand the truth. The most powerful conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself.